Hey friends, once again, welcome to all of you in English classes. Today, let's learn about clause. So, if you are watching my video for the first time, consider subscribing. You can listen to the explanation of lessons class 9 to 11 on my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you can notify whenever I upload the video. So let's move the clause. Clause. What is clause? A clause consists of a subject and a verb and is the smallest grammatical unit that expresses a thought. क्लॉज सब्जेक्ट एंड वर्ब होते हैं और ये ग्रामर की सबसे छोटी इकाई होती है, यूनिट होती है जो थॉट एक्सप्रेस करती है, जिसे हम क्लॉज के नाम से जानते हैं. व्हाट इज अ क्लॉज इन अ सेंटेंस? एक सेंटेंस में क्लॉज क्या होता है? सेंटेंस में क्लॉज एक सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म होती है. अ क्लॉज इन ग्रामर इज सब्जेक्ट प्लस अ वर्ब. एक सब्जेक्ट और वर्ब का जो पीस होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड द क्लॉज. द सब्जेक्ट इज द एंटिटी डूइंग द एक्शन. सब्जेक्ट का एग्जिस्टेंस होता है दैट समथिंग इज गोइंग ऑन, द एक्शन इज डूइंग ऑन. So, and the verb is the action that subject complete और subject verb को complete करता है. It means doer is the subject and his work is done by, that is called action or verb. A clause creates a complete thought, an idea or a statement that can stand alone. A complete thought is also called a main clause or independent clause. Clause, there are two types of clause. So, independent clause and dependent clause. Here are few examples of clauses. In clause, subject plus verb. You must know what is clause. Wherever there is a subject and a verb, that is called clause, either which is a complete sense or incomplete sense. If there is a incomplete sense, it means it is a independent, not dependent clause. And if there is a complete thought, that is IC, it means independent clause. Suppose I eat, it is a complete sentence. I eat, मैं खाना खाता हूँ, ये एक complete thought है. Sharon speaks, ये भी अपने आप में complete thought है. Sharon subject, speaks verb. So, subject plus verb. A clause may include the verb predicate as well. Verb को जैसे कि I eat, I is a subject and eat you can also call that predicate part, but it must include at least the subject and verb to be considered a clause. Without verb it is not called clause, or without subject it is not called clause. So you must consider it. Now I told you there are two clauses, independent and dependent. First we will discuss about what is independent clause. Independent clause is that clause which can stand alone in a sentence. जब कोई clause इंडिपेंडेंटली खड़ा हो या कंप्लीट सेंस देता हो, जिसमें सब्जेक्ट और वर्ब हो, वो कहलाता है इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज, which can stand itself, which is not dependent on the other sentence. A clause may include modifier and a verb predicate. It is a complete thought and the smallest unit of grammar. I told you the examples. I eat bananas. It is a complete thought, so it is independent clause. Now another example of independent clause. I eat bananas in the kitchen. Now in the kitchen I eat. Here I eat is the subject and verb. Okay. An object, banana, and a prepositional phrase in the kitchen have been added to the clause to make it. More specific, the entire sentence is an independent clause because it is a complete thought statement. What is a dependent clause? As I told you, whatever is dependent means क्या होता है? निर्भरता. जब कोई वाक्य किसी दूसरे वाक्य पर निर्भर हो, that is dependent clause. Dependent clause contains a subject and verb. However, they cannot stand alone as an independent thought. जैसे independent thought itself stand, but it cannot stand. They must be joined with an independent clause. It means the dependent clause has to take support of the independent clause. That time it can be grammatically correct. For an example, every night before I go to bed, I eat bananas. Here, I eat bananas is an independent clause. You know it. A dependent clause now opens the sentence while the dependent clause contains a subject and a verb, I go. Okay. The dependent clause itself cannot stand alone a complete thought. Every night before I go to bed, this is not a complete thought. Dependent clause example, and therefore not a sentence in English. That is why it is not a sentence. Every night before I go to bed, what happens? It is an incomplete thought. ये क्या रात को जाता है? It means यहाँ पर incomplete thought है. This idea must be joined with an independent clause to be ग्रामेटिकली करेक्ट. इसे ग्रामेटिकली करेक्ट करने के लिए एक इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज की और सेंटेंस की नीड है. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज डिपेंडेंट क्लॉज. Here are some more types of clauses which you have already known, I think. Now to come to the noun clause. What is a noun clause? Noun clause is a type of dependent clause that acts as a noun in the sentence. जो noun की तरह सेंटेंस में कार्य करता है. A noun clause will always contain a subject and a verb. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. It is just a part of dependent clause. That is why. I remember what you said yesterday. Now, here the underlined portion is the independent clause. Okay. What you say, I remember. Okay. That can stand alone. I remember. It is a complete thought. The italicized word is what you said yesterday. What you said yesterday serve as a dependent clause because it is incomplete thought. What you said yesterday, it is not complete. So what is here? Noun clause. What is an adjective clause? Now come to the adjective clause, which is also the work as relative clause. Adjective clause is a type of dependent clause. It is also the part of dependent clause that acts as an adjective in the sentence. जो adjective की तरह यहाँ पे काम करता है. An adjective clause will always contain a subject and a verb. Almost definitions are the same, but the work is now different. Their textures is same, but their uses is different. It cannot stand alone as a complete thought. An adjective clause will always begin with one of the following, like that, relative pronouns. You must remember that, where, who, whom, which. Relative adverb is when, where, why. Here is an example of adjective clause. The boy who you saw. The boy who you saw. Now who is adjective? वही लड़का जिसे आपने देखा. At the store committed a robbery. So here who is a adjective clause. The adjective clause is acting as an adjective in the sentence. The adjective clause describes the boy. The boy. Which boy? Who boy? Whom you saw yesterday. Okay. It contains a subject and a verb. You saw. Okay. You saw is denoting whom. Who. However, it cannot stand alone as complete thought. Who you saw at the robbery is not a complete statement. Additional adjective clauses example, the store that the boy robbed is on the corner. Okay, the corner of the street where my family. Now, where my family is a adjective clause. Okay, now the last dependent clause is, it is also the part of dependent clause, adverbial clause. Adverbial clause definition is, it is a type of dependent clause that acts as an adverb. It is work it works like an adverb in the sentence. An adverbial clause will always contain a subject and a verb. It cannot stand alone because of the part of the dependent clause. एडवर्बियल क्लॉज भी अलोन स्टैंड नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि ये भी डिपेंडेंट क्लॉज का एक पार्ट है. ओके, हियर आर एग्जांपल. You will continue driving north until you see a stop sign. Until, it is denoting the time. You know adverb clause, adverb definition, I suppose you all know. अगर आपको adverb के definition और उनके kinds आते हैं तो आपके लिए बहुत आसान है adverbial clause को समझना. The adverbial clause is acting as an adverb in the sentence which modifies how you will drive. Okay, how you will drive. The adverbial clause contains a subject and verb. You will continue driving. How will you? You will continue. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. Until you see a stop sign, आप तब तक कंटिन्यू रखेंगे ड्राइविंग जब तक कि आपको स्टॉप साइन नहीं दिखता है. ओके, so here is another example. After the movie ended, we ate ice cream. After the movie ended, it is a adverbial clause. Okay, so I believe you must understand the concept of clauses. और मुझे यकीन है कि आपको क्लॉज समझ में आ गया होगा. अगर कोई भी क्वायरी हो तो आप कमेंट बॉक्स में अपनी कमेंट करिएगा. और आई होप कि आपको ये मेरा वीडियो पसंद आएगा. सो कीप वॉचिंग. थैंक यू एंड टेक केयर.